The spirit of democracy, a noble idea on paper. Democracy, it's a word that gets thrown around a lot. We're told it's about the people and for the people. Ideally, it means everyone has a voice. It means our leaders represent us and our needs. Decisions made by the government should reflect what the majority wants. Sounds great, right? A system where everyone has an equal say, a level playing field where the best ideas win, except there's a problem. And that problem, my friends, is money, because in the real world, some voices are much louder than others. And those voices often belong to the people with the fattest wallets. Let's be honest, money talks, and in politics, it screams from the rooftops. The price of influence. How money bends democracy. So, how exactly does this whole money in politics thing work? Well, it's not exactly a secret. Politicians need money to run their campaigns. Those fancy TV ads, those glossy brochures, those rallies with free hot dogs they don't pay for themselves. Enter the wealthy donors and corporations with deep pockets. They shell out massive amounts of cash to support their chosen candidates. And what do they get in return? Access, influence, a seat at the table where decisions are made. Suddenly, the needs of the average person start to look a lot less important than the desires of the highest bidder. It's like a game of Monopoly, where some players start with hotels on Boardwalk and you're stuck with Baltic Avenue. Lobbying legalized bribery in a fancy suit. Now let's talk about lobbyists. These are the smooth-talking, well-connected individuals paid handsomely to push the agendas of special interest groups.
They wine and dine politicians, shower them with gifts, within legal limits of course, and whisper sweet nothings about campaign contributions. Our job is to convince lawmakers that what's good for, say, big tobacco or big oil is somehow good for the rest of us.
They're masters of spin, twisting facts and figures to fit their narrative. And here's the kicker, it's all perfectly legal. This legalized form of bribery warps the democratic process, prioritizing corporate profits over the public good. Section 4. Bought and sold real-life examples of money's grip on policy. Don't believe me? Let's look at the evidence.
The pharmaceutical industry spends billions lobbying Congress, and surprise, surprise, America has the highest drug prices in the world. Oil and gas companies pour money into political campaigns, and environmental regulations are mysteriously weakened.
The list goes on and on. From healthcare to education, from gun control to climate change, from the fingerprints of moneyed interests are all over our policies. It's a system rigged in favor of the wealthy and powerful, leaving the rest of us struggling to make our voices heard. Section 5. The illusion of choice. Are we really in control? So we hold elections, we cast our votes, but are we really in control?
When the same small group of wealthy donors and corporations bankroll both major parties, how much choice do we really have? It's like choosing between Coke and Pepsi when what you really want is a glass of water. Sure, there might be slight differences, but ultimately, they're both sugary drinks owned by massive corporations.
We're presented with the illusion of choice, while the real decisions are being made behind closed doors, far removed from the concerns of everyday citizens. Section 6. A system rigged. What kind of democracy do we really have? This begs the question, what kind of democracy do we really have?
Is it a government of the people, by the people, for the people? Or is it a government of the wealthy, by the well-connected, for the highest bidder? It's time to decide what kind of system we want. A system where every voice matters, or one where only the loudest wallets get a say?
The choice, for once, should be ours. But here's the real question. In a system overflowing with money and riddled with loopholes, do we really have a choice at all?